morning and come on in. Happy Wednesday. Of course, I am here with a motivational life lesson for you guys on this beautiful Wednesday morning. It is Sakara Bay, your motivational speaker and author, here again with this week's life lesson. I hope you all are doing well this morning. I am doing well. I thought I was going to be really sad today because today they lay my mother-in-law to rest. My ex-husband's mother passed away, and they are preparing to lay her to rest this morning. So but I actually feel really good today. I don't feel as down as I thought I would feel, and to God be the glory for that. Even though I am not there, mourning with the family, my thoughts and prayers and my heart and mind is with them. So, good morning. Good morning and happy Wednesday. I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to be before you guys with a motivational message on today. I'm going to tell y'all the topic in a moment, but, you guys, let's just start off. Number one, I want to do kind of like a moment of silence for my mother-in-law, and I just want to reflect on our blessings this morning. So, that is always a great way to start the day. I want to celebrate life on this beautiful Wednesday morning, and I want to reflect on my blessings despite of it all. So let's just give ourselves a few moments before we jump into this message, and then we are going to get right into it. Whew. I'm glad I got that out the way. So today's topic is learning how to adapt to change. Yes, I feel like that is a very timely message with all of the other messages that I have been relaying over to you guys. And adapting to change can be very difficult, and it's time to get to it. Like, it is just time to just jump right on in here to it. We've been talking about everything else, and we have to learn how to be active. The word of God says faith without works is dead. So we can pray for something, we can want it, we can hope for it until as long as we want to, but if we don't put any action behind it, then there is just no use. So adapting to change and learning how to get used to your life changing, it can be difficult. A lot of people don't like to adapt to change. We just don't. We get stuck in our comfort zone, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but we don't like to adapt to change. We want things to stay, where we want them at. And I'm just going to go ahead and get right on into it. So I was just so excited preparing this message, like so over the top, on the edge of my seat, because of course I tell you guys all the time, when I am relaying these messages over to you guys, I am learning so much, and I am applying so much of these messages to myself and to my own life, and it does a lot for me. So I'm really hoping and praying that you guys are taking bits and pieces from the messages that I relay over to you. And I do recommend that you grab yourself a pen and a piece of paper just to kind of jot some stuff down, because especially on my Wednesday morning messages, I am like throwing tons of information out at you guys, and all of it is not going to resonate with you. You know, when I am self-educating and teaching myself things that I, am interested in learning on the regular basis, I go over some of the same things over and over and over and over and over again. I listen to some of the same audiobooks over and over and over again. I listen to some of the same lectures over and over and over again. I read some of the same books more than once because I want to get this, I mean, all the time we are not going to just get it. When I first started this process, I still have like a ton of notes that I refer back to. It is always good to just grab a pen and a piece of paper just to write some things down. The main thing that I would love for you guys to write down and keep with you, I mean, you can always go back to the videos whenever you feel like it, but the affirmations that I speak over you guys at the end of my Wednesday messages. I think I throw some affirmations out there on Fridays as well, but I would love for you guys to hold on to some of these affirmations, especially the ones that resonate with you. Like, wow, I needed that affirmation. I want to speak those blessings over myself. Hold on to those affirmations, guys. Write them down. Keep them in your notes. Keep them in your journal. Refer back to these affirmations. But by all means, our message for today is learning how to adapt to change. I recommend that you all grab a pen and a piece of paper because, like, I really just dug down into it. I took so many notes, and I do this all the time. I take, like, sometimes 3 pages worth of notes, and then I break it down to, like, 1.5 page full of notes. So the things that I am relaying over to you guys, that is just not all I received while preparing these messages. It is so much more inside of me, but I try to be mindful of your time and my time, and I try to just concentrate and focus on the things that are most important so we can get it. So there is so much that I want to talk to you guys about today. Even though I am a little pressed for time, I am not going to rush through this message because I think it is very, very important for us to learn how to adapt to change. Adapting to change. Everything in existence is change. Fact. If we ignore or hide away from the challenge of change, we deny ourselves the opportunity to learn and grow. Our resilience in life can only grow stronger when we embrace change. Resilience, how much we can take. We are always going to come into trials and tribulations, situations, things are going to arise, and our resilience, this is what I gathered from my research on learning how to adapt to change, is our resilience in life can only grow stronger when we embrace change. So I'm going to go ahead and keep moving forward. What's important about change is how we anticipate it and how we react to it. So that is the most important part about change is, just like anything else, I know there's a saying like life is not what happens to you, is how you respond to it. So, that is the same thing with change, like how you decide to react to something or how you decide to deal with the changes in your life. It's absolutely and totally up to you, but it is going to make all of the difference in the world. So just be mindful of the changes that's happening around us in our lives. Change is not always going to be good. Sometimes change is going to be bitter, sweet, but we must find equal equivalent for equal opportunity to grow and learn and to get better as things start changing in our life. I was trying to think of a quote from my favorite motivational speaker, Napoleon Hill. He actually said it about adversity. Adversity is of equal opportunity for oh my goodness, I'm not going to say it word for word, but in change and in trials and in hard times and tribulations and all those kind of things, we can find blessings in them. We can find opportunities to grow. We can find, you know, it's always not bad. You know, every time something happened to us, we sometimes think that it is the end of the world. And sometimes some things are happening for you. The things that you think that are happening to you are actually happening for you. It is just all in how we choose to perceive these things. So 5 strategies. I wrote down 5 strategies to adapting to change. Number 1, change your mindset. Change your mindset, change your mindset, change your mindset. Please don't make me go off on this first strategy on learning how to adapt to change. Mindset is everything. Mindset is absolutely everything. We have to learn how to change our mindset. You have to put your mind where you want your life to be. People who are health conscious are most likely to be healthy. People who are wealth conscious are most likely to be wealthy, or conscious of their finances. They think about where their money is going and all that kind of stuff like that. Mindset is absolutely everything, and we don't realize how much mindset is manifestation. The things that you think about are what you become. I said this a million times before, and I will say it a million times again. These are not my words, these are the words of God. A man is as he thinketh in his own mind. There's an audio book on YouTube that is about, give or take, 45 minutes long, and I have listened to the audio book As a Man Thinketh so many times, and I love it. It is so oh my gosh, it just does something for me when we can actually understand how the thoughts that we think in our own mind, how it has a reflection on our everyday life. And it teaches us how we can think in a way where we can attract goodness to ourselves. Mindset is everything. Fix your thoughts. Fix your mind. God bless my son, my 10-year-old son. I just sent him back to school today. His grandmother passed away on Friday, and he was not taking it very well at all. So I had to get out. I had to get up Monday morning and go about my regular Monday routine. And when I came home, I talked to him about how his day went, and he said he cried a lot today. And, you know, not only was he thinking about his grandmother that just passed away, he was thinking about all the other people that passed away in our lives. We lost a lot of people since the end of 2021, all through 2022. And now here last week, his grandmother passed away. And I'm trying to teach my son how to adapt with mourning the loss of loved ones in a healthy way, so he won't lash out and you know, take out his pain in an unhealthy way. So I told him, you know, I mean, it's nothing. We're death is a natural part of life. I just try to explain and break these things down to my son. And I said, why don't you, when you think about the people that we lost in our life, why don't you think about the good times? I took my son to visit his grandmother a few months ago, and it was an absolutely amazing visit. It was better than I had even imagined. I was kind of scared to take him to see his grandma while she was sick, because I didn't want that to be the last memories of her. But it was an absolutely amazingly beautiful visit. It was way better than what I even expected. And I said, remember that last visit that we had with your grandma? He said, yeah. I said, why don't you think about that? I said, we can control the thoughts that you think in your own mind. I said, you don't have to not think about your grandma, but you can think about her in a way that's going to make you happy. And my 10-year-old son looked at me and said, I didn't know that we can control the thoughts that go through our mind. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. I don't think that we know how much power we have over the thoughts that we think in our own mind. We control the things that we think. And I hear people say all the time, listen, I know where y'all coming from with it. I go out into my community. I talk to people all the time. I, just counsel one-on-one, and I relay messages. I do this on the regular basis all the time. And I hear so many people say, so oftentimes, that you don't know me. My mind is this. My mind is powerful. My mind is overtaken. My mind goes 1,000,000 miles per hour. Everybody's mind does. The mind is just so complicated. We have so many wires and this and that, and we are so intelligent. Our brains are able to do so many things at one time. You ain't the only one. Let me just say that you are not the only person in this world whose mind is going 1,000,000 miles per hour. All of our minds do too. But the thing about me is, and the people who learn how to control the thoughts in their own mind, is we practice at it. We practice at learning how to control our thoughts. We practice at learning how to take negative thoughts and turning them into positive ones. And it has a reflection on our everyday life. This is why I talk to you guys so much, because that is going to help you in a way that you can't even imagine. It's the starting point of everything. It is literally the starting point on the journey on your way to where you want your life to be, is learning how to control the thoughts that go through your mind. You think that you don't have control over the thoughts that go through your mind, but you do. Newsflash, you do. You control the things that go through your mind. It is a strategy to it. It takes practice. You have to work on it every single day. Is it easy? No. Is it worth it? Yes. And it's so much easy to think negative than it is to think positive, because those negative thoughts come. They come back to back to back to back to back. They start small and then they snowball, and now you just don't even feel good because you let the thoughts in your mind run rapid instead of you tackling that negative thought and holding that puppy in a headlock and saying, I'm not going to think like this right now because I want to feel good today. And we don't practice positive thinking strategies, and that has a reflection on our entire life, and that is just the reality of it. We have more power and control over our thoughts, or having power and control over your thoughts is having control over your life. It takes you where you want to go. It is a matter between life and death. Depression, oh man, depression is like the #1 killer in the world. These things, they start in your mind. All these things start in your mind. Someone was telling me of a physical ailment that they had in their body. I believe it was IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and that they had been suffering with it for like over 20 years. So I was like, wow, I'm asking questions. My mind is very inquisitive. So I said, so what are the doctors saying? Even when you first begin to suffer with IBS, where does it stem from? What causes IBS? The only logical explanations that scientists and doctors have for irritable bowel syndrome is emotional distress that comes from thoughts and feelings. This person who I was talking to, their case of IBS is severe. It has gotten worse over the years, and it all comes from the thoughts that they allow to go through their mind that is having this damaging effect on their body. And this is what we do to ourselves when we don't learn how to control our thoughts and our emotions. And that's just one thing. It is so many other physical ailments that stem from how we think. So we just don't give it the recognition and the credit and the importance that it deserves. Listen, I didn't mean to go off on y'all. That was just my number one. I got 5 strategies that I wrote down on learning how to adapt to change. And the first strategy was change your mindset. Mindset is everything. That is 100% the reason why I sit before you guys and run my mouth a mile a minute multiple times a week. This is why I make videos. This is why I have a YouTube channel. This is why I write books. This is why I do life lessons. Is because we need to learn how to change the way that we perceive things in our own mind, control our own thoughts, and we have to learn how to change the way that we think. This is why I'm here. This is why I'm here in a nutshell, because everything starts in your mind. I care about your mind. I care about your thoughts. I'm grateful for where God has me today mentally. But I can't care about your mind and your thoughts and how you control your thinking more than you care about it yourself. So we're going to have to work on that. Woo! I'm glad I got that out the way. So number 2, my second strategy on adapting to adapting to change is find meaning in life. Sometimes we can get hopeless for whatever reason, whatever situation we've been stuck in for a long time or whatever, and sometimes we just have not narrowed down that one thing that has so much meaning for us in our life. Sometimes we like to wait until we get older to find meaning in our life. You don't have to be old. You don't have to be young. I mean, there's no specific age where you can just search for meaning in your life. Any time is a good time for you to search for meaning in your life, because it will help you better adapt to change. Let go of your regrets. I regret nothing. I made so many mistakes, and guess what happened to my mistakes? The God that I serve threw him into the sea of forgetfulness. He forgave me of my mistakes, and I don't have to live with them anymore. So we have to learn how to let go of our regrets. And if you got somebody in your life and they talking about, well, you did this or you did that, and I remember this and I remember that, you know what I did? Not only did God forgive me, and I'm grateful for the forgiveness of God, I learned how to forgive myself. So I am not going to be holding on to a bunch of regrets and mistakes I made in the past and things that I did that I no longer have any control over. What's done is done. This will help you learn how to adapt to change when you let go of regrets. This is my favorite one right here. Number 4, write a list of scary things to do and go out and do them all. That is so ironic that I came across this strategy during this study, because now I know some of you follow me on social media. I'm taking swimming lessons. I used to be so scared to swim, so scared to put my head underwater. So, you know, I have an amazing swim instructor, and I'm like dunking my head underwater, and I got my goggles on, and he was like, you got your goggles on, you can open your eyes. So I'm like releasing all of these fears and these things that I've been scared of for so long, especially as far as swimming is concerned. But me and my big old bold bad self was like, ooh, I'm gonna learn how to swim, I'm gonna be backstroking and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I want to go bungee jumping. Like, I am terrified of heights. Like, let me just get that out the way. I am so like through the roof. Like, thinking about heights right now is like making my stomach queasy and my knees weak. I am so terrified of heights, but I want to face my fears. Before it is all said and done, I'm going to go bungee jumping. I am going to do the things that I have always been so much afraid of. I didn't fly for the first time until maybe about, oh gosh, I don't know how many years ago it was. It wasn't quite 10 years ago. Maybe 5 or plus some years ago was when I actually got on a plane and took my very first flight. And it wasn't as scared. I didn't have to be as scared as, I was. So I rid myself of all those fears. Being on a plane, turbulence is natural. We come into turbulence while we up in the air and all that. And since that very first time that I flew, I have flown so many times since then. So this one, number 4, this is my favorite of all time. Y'all getting a little nervous now just even thinking about that. Write down a list of scary to do things and go out there and do them. Just go out there and do those things that you are so scared of. I was at the lake with my son yesterday, and we were sitting on the rocks by the waterfall meditating. And I just wanted my son to find some kind of relief in dealing with the loss of his grandmother. So I was teaching him how to meditate and relax his mind and things like that. And this gigantic snake jumped up and like ran across my son's arm once we opened our eyes. And he started screaming and jumping and running. And I seen the snake like swivel down the rocks and like jump into the lake. And I was cracking up. And you talking about the same. First of all, he made me throw my phone, crack my camera on my phone. And I used to be terrified of things like that. And I know when it comes down to snakes and stuff like that, especially those big ones, you don't want to get too close to them because you don't want them to bite you. You don't know how poisonous they are and stuff like that. But when he looked at me, like he was like get ready to jump out his skin. He was so scared. And I saw the snake run in the opposite direction of us. So I realized that it was no longer a threat to us. And I just found that it was so funny. Like I was just cracking up. And, after the whole thing, like we were just like scaring each other the whole time. Like the snake was still following us before we left the lake. And I'm just thinking like this is the same person, just like evaluating myself. Like this is the same person that literally used to be scared of every single thing, that's sitting here cracking up. He was more scared than I was, and he's a dirty little boy. So, that situation, that just stuck out to me because I noticed myself being not as full of fear of everything that I used to be. Now, one day I might go, to an exotic island or whatever and pet a snake or even hold one on my shoulders or something like that. But I'm just not as afraid of everything like I used to be. So, I know that might sound gross to some of you guys, but whatever that looks like to you, that is my absolute favorite one of the 5 strategies on learning how to adapt to change is do the thing that you are most scared to do. So I can't wait to start knocking some of that stuff off of my bucket list. And last but not least, focus on living a healthy life. I actually wrote a book on health and wellness. It is called Feed Your Soul. And I have been practicing health and wellness for so many years. I don't even want to start going off on y'all about focusing on living a healthy and balanced life. During my study, it said your health is literally your wealth. Most people don't do well because they don't feel well. You can't show up and perform the way that you want to perform in life if your body is full of ailments. I'm not blaming the things that you are going through in your health and in your body. I know that there is things going on with us that are beyond our control, but I'm talking about the part that you do play in it, the things that are in your control, the amount of activity that you have on the regular basis. Start with health consciousness. Think about how healthy you want to be. The things that you eat all the time, we all love to indulge every now and then. Guilty. I'm not going to act like I don't like a snack or a piece of cake, or I stop eating chips because I don't have any control over myself as far as potato chips are concerned. So I had to like X potato chips completely out of my life for right now anyway, until I learn how to control my potato chip intake. But we have to focus on healthy living. Like, I know some of you who follow me on social media that y'all see I am a health guru. I love working out. I love being at the gym. I do it when I don't want to do it. I do it when I'm tired. I do it when I'm running off of fumes. I am at the gym working out, running off like 3 or 4 hours worth of sleep. Like, I work out at least 5 days out the week, 4 at the most, and I love it. I drink a green smoothie every day. I know y'all heard me say this. I eat plenty of greens, spinach, salads, all that kind of stuff, and it helps me a lot. I am more stronger now than I have ever been in my entire life, and I didn't even notice. My ex-husband, I was having a conversation with him I think it was last week or something like that. And we were talking about when we were together, he was actually looking at my book on health and wellness. And he was talking about how strong I am now compared to what I used to be. And sometimes it takes another person's look from the outside in, because I didn't even recognize how weak I used to be. Back then when we were together, he was talking about how he would have to walk behind me, walking up a flight of steps, and literally push my butt up the steps because I was too weak. I was hurting too much. Everything, my joints, my knees, my hips, everything was just hurting too much for me to make it up a flight of steps. And we talking about a person in their 30s. I'm 42 now. That was 10 years ago, when I was literally that weak, and I didn't even notice the drastic change me focusing on my health has made on me over the years. And I didn't even realize it was that bad until I actually heard him mention it. So I was like, what? So he telling me more and more and more about, things that he noticed about, how weak and frail and how much in pain that I used to be before I started focusing on my health as much as I do now. It was like amazing to him. He was like, wow. And this was the first time me and him ever had a conversation about that. And it was mind blowing to me. And it just makes me that much more grateful that I focus on my health so much, because I want to be healthy. I got a lot of kids. I want to be strong. I don't want to be sick, frail. Oh, I want to be healthy as I grow. I want to age gracefully, but I want to be strong and I want to be healthy. And that makes so much of the difference in the world. When I was doing my research on learning how to adapt to change, being healthy and strong is in preparation of situations that might arise. When we focus on our mental health, our physical health, the amount of activity that we incorporate in our daily lives and all that kind of stuff, it allows us to be prepared for life's for things that happen in our life. We are better prepared when we are healthier mentally and physically. So, you might have to reevaluate your life and yourself and the things that, you had to deal with on the regular basis. How healthy are you? How healthy are you physically? How healthy are you mentally? Are you able to deal with life on life's terms? Or is it difficult for you to deal with the situations that life brings you? And is it a reflection on how healthy you are mentally and physically? Do you think you will be better able to show up if you started focusing on your health more? That is just something for you to think about within yourself. So, focus on living a healthy and balanced life. That is my 5th and final strategy of learning how to adapt to change. Eugen, Yugen. Eugen is a Japanese word that has no English equivalent, that means the coming and going of things in the world and its marvelousness. It means mysterious grace. So this stood out to me in my research on adapting to change when I heard someone say the word eugen, and the beginning of the word you means beautiful, marvelous, miraculous, and Gen means darkness. So it is just the natural changes in life, the good, the bad. So it literally, when you break it down, eugen, the meaning of eugen means mysterious grace. We don't always know what's going to happen. That is one thing that I pray that God blesses me with when I go through my trials and tribulations of life. Through my divorce, and I've been evicted before, and all the changes and the things that I had to go through. And I just say, God, give me grace. Give me grace. I know I gotta move. I know I ain't got no way to put these kids. I know my husband ain't acting right. I know, these things. I know I just got fired, from my job. I know I got to pay these bills. I know all of these things are, they have to be dealt with, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with the things. Sometimes we don't have all the answers, but I always, always, always pray for grace, and I always receive it. I ask God for grace, and He gives it to me. My divorce, the process of my separation, and me not being with my ex-husband anymore, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't horrible. It could have been worse. Even with me being evicted and, having to find somewhere for my kids to lay their head, it could have been worse. I think 2 of my oldest sons had to go stay with my sister at a point in time until I was able to put us all back under the same roof again. And that only lasted for like 2 months. God graced us through that. We stuck together and we made it through it as best as we could. So, eugen is mysterious grace. So it is, the unknown, the grace of the unknown. And that is just, life and the changes of life. So life is life because of change. Nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable. There's no getting around it. I'm going to read that again. Life is life because of change. Nothing stays the same. Change is inevitable. There's no getting around it. I mean, sometimes we may think we can avoid change, or I don't know. I don't know what goes through your mind when you think about learning how to adapt to the changes in your life and the changes in your body and the changes that are going on around you and all of that kind of stuff. But things don't always go as we plan, but we must learn how to adapt to them. So, change is just a natural part of life. We are talking about learning how to adapt to change this morning. I think that this is so valid in the state that this world is in, and even some of the things that I see people go through on social media. People are going through things not so gracefully. I see people complaining about different things, this, that, and the other, and it is what it is. I mean, sometimes you just gotta let some things roll off your back, and just keep it moving. We have to learn how to better gracefully adapt to the changes in life. Sometimes people may show up as not who we want for them to be. When people show their true colors, and we have more faith in a person to be better than what we expected them to be, and they don't. That's just the reality of it. It may be our family members. They may do stuff or whatever, and we just have to learn how to adapt to not having certain people in our life anymore, or learning how to adapt to changes in life on life's terms. Ice Age. I'm not talking about the cartoon Ice Age, the movie Ice Age. I know you guys heard of Ice Age. Ice Age. The most recent Ice Age occurred between 120,000 and 11,500 years ago. Ice Age is when temperatures of the earth lowers, which leads lands on earth to be covered by large sheets of ice. Ice Age. The the climate can experience large changes from relatively small outside forces. So this is the point of me talking about ice age, because the world is constantly changing one small step at a time in ways that we don't even imagine. So ice age stood out to me most. Like, that was just something I heard someone talking about it. I was listening to a audio book really that had nothing to do with adapting to change, but it just stood out to me so much because they were making a point using ice age, and it is because I think it's like small gases that releases into the atmosphere, and it causes ice age to occur. It causes the temperatures to drop and all of that kind of stuff. And it's like this little small thing that is happening that we don't even realize that can have this major effect. So, I mean, I believe that scientists are finding a way to control the comings of ice age, and actually technically we are currently in ice age right now. And like the past stages from our last most recent ice age, we are currently still in the state of ice age. Human beings have learned how to adapt to life on earth with ice age. I think they said we survived like 5 major ice age. I believe that there were some ice age where humans just did not survive ice age until we learned how to adapt to the change of ice age, and we had to learn how to live with ice age. I think they pushed ice age off. It's supposed to be happening soon or now or again, and they found a way to prolong it like another 50,000 years or something like that. So we will never actually see ice age, but there will be another ice age where parts of the earth will be covered with large masses and sheets of ice. And I'm glad that I won't be around to experience a ice age, because number one, you are looking at somebody who just don't like being cold at all. Like, I love hot climates over cold climates any day. I can live and move somewhere where it is just 80, 90 degrees all year around. But that's just me personally. But just the point of me talking about ice age, what stood out to me most is the small things that happen creates such a huge change. So that is with us too. Like, the small changes that we make, the small little modifications that we make in our life results into big differences. It results into a big major difference in our life. I have noticed that about myself. The more that excuse me, the more that I made small, simple changes in my life on the regular basis, I see large effects from small changes. So, I mean, the world is constantly changing. We didn't even know, y'all probably didn't even know that you were currently in a state of ice age until I told you, unless you were someone who studies those type of things. But that just goes to show that the world is forever changing. It is always changing, even when we don't acknowledge it or recognize it, in ways that we don't even know. And so are we. We are constantly changing in ways that we don't even recognize or realize. You're going to wake up and look in the mirror, and you're going to be a totally different person than what you was I don't know, 5, 10 years ago, and you're gonna be like, dang, where that 5 years go? And you're not even gonna realize how much of a change you have made in your body and your appearance. Some of us got gray hairs spouting out and all that kind of stuff. Our bodies are constantly changing. So change is going to happen whether we like it or not. There is no way of getting around it. We are talking about learning how to adapt to change today. I think this life lesson is oh so relevant in the state that we are in, because we have to change. We may not want to, but we have to learn how to change with life. There is absolutely no getting around it. We create comfort zones of safety that we don't want to be disturbed. The more comfortable we are, the more disturbed we will be with change. So we can't just create these comfort zones, because change can occur in the blink of an eye, in any different way, in ways that you can't even imagine. Change can occur drastically in a positive way as well as in a negative way. That this point right here made me think of that song, Don't You Get Too Comfortable. I think it was Jamie Foxx that sung the hook of that song. To the left, if you want to leave, be my guest, you can step. And I think that that part of the song was like mainly diverted towards women or whatever. But don't get too comfortable, because baby, don't get too comfortable. That is where we go wrong, is when we allow ourselves to get into our comfort zone, and then when change happens, we are not able to gracefully adapt to it, because you done sat up there and let yourself get way too comfortable, more comfortable than you should have allowed yourself to get. Let me tell you something. I asked God for change. I am one person. Listen, y'all might think I'm crazy. Y'all done see me with rainbow, every color hair in the world, different colors, but it does something for me when I can change from yellow to red to green to blue, because I am one person. I can't have my nails the same color. I've seen certain people that keep their nails the same color every time they go to the nail salon. They get the same color every time, and I get tired of looking at your nails the same. I'm sorry. Some people had the same color hair, and this is just my color. And, I've been wearing bronze for the past 10 years. And I'm like, baby, please try off bronze or something like that, a different color, because change does something for me mentally. I know this may not be everybody, but I pray and ask God for change. When I feel like things have been staying the same in my life for way too long, and I'm getting up and I'm doing the same routine, and I know what I'm asking God for, I know what I'm praying for, all of this kind of stuff, and I be like, God, listen, we're going to have a conversation, because at this point, I am ready for some things to change. Like, I just want things to change. I embrace change. I can't just have things the same, for way too long. I am the type of person, I just have to have some kind of change. It keeps life exciting and brand new and all of that kind of stuff for me. So then when major changes occur, being as though I am the type of person who loves to embrace change, whether good or bad, it won't be so hard for me to adapt to change. So that's where I want all of us to be. I want us to learn how to adapt to change regularly, because things are changing so much right now. Even in this very moment, things are changing. I'm sitting here, having this conversation with y'all, talking to y'all about change. But as we sit here through this message, things are constantly changing right here in this very moment. Ooh. I ain't gonna start messing with y'all this morning, but it is. That is just the reality of it. We have to learn how to adapt better to change. So don't get too comfortable. I love that when I came across that in my research of learning how to adapt to change. I thought that was very valid for me to get that message across to you guys. Don't get too comfortable. Please don't get too comfortable. And that is just with anything, with your lifestyle, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're married, whether you're single, in a relationship, parenthood. These kids grow up, they gonna be grown. You go from a full house to an empty house and all of that kind of stuff. And we just have to learn how to adapt to change. If you understand change and don't resist it, let it flow, it becomes positively beautiful. If you understand change, don't resist it, let it flow, it becomes positively beautiful. We might be in the state of mind that change can be a bad thing, but it is not. Change is absolutely not a terribly bad thing. Change can be as amazing as we want it to be. So we have to learn how to accept change as something beautiful in life, because it is. Change is beautiful. Change is lovely. It is all how we perceive these things in our own mind. We have to stop being afraid to change, because you won't be all right. Trust me, you are. So I wrote down a few quotes. Of course, I had to throw my quotes out at y'all today. My first quote is from a man named Lao Tzu. Tzu is his last name. And yes, he is Japanese. He is a Japanese philosopher and author who became very successful over the years from the books that he have written. So this is what Lao Tzu said. TZU. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally. Focus on whatever, and let things flow naturally forward. I can't even understand my own handwriting. I'm gonna read it again. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. So I'm gonna read this quote again from Lao Tzu. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in the way that they like. So go with the flow. I was having a conversation with my 21-year-old son, and we were coming up with some formulas that we can stick with in life. And one step of the formula that we came up with, and this was many months ago, is go with the flow. We have to learn how to go with the flow. So that was one quote. My next quote is from Soulja Boy, aka DeAndre Cortez Way, an American rapper and record producer. So this is what Soulja Boy said. Not all storms come to disturb your life. Some come to clear your path. And you know, sometimes we think things just happen and we have to adapt to these changes, and we can feel like it's the end of the world and oh my goodness, what is going on? And these are the words from a successful Soulja Boy. Has made a great success over himself. I listen to plenty of his songs. I don't want to start rapping for y'all on here, but Soulja Boy, he the man. I like Soulja Boy. aka DeAndre Cortez Way, an American rapper and record producer. And Soulja Boy said, not all storms come to disturb your life. Some come to clear your path. So, I mean, we got a job to do, y'all. We got a job to do. We got somewhere to go. God got us out here still living and breathing and changing and doing the things that we do on the regular basis. He got us out here for a reason. So we cannot negate the fact that we are are here for a reason. So everything that has happened to you, we cannot allow our lives to stop, and we can't fall into pieces and just fall apart. And we don't know exactly how to deal with the changes in life, but we have to continue to learn how to go with the flow. Things happen unexpectedly. Things happen sometimes in a way that may not be so favorable to us. Sometimes things happen extremely favorable to us, but sometimes maybe we can look at the things that we consider not so favorable as being favorable for us. It's really all in the way that we look at things. A little growth fuels the force of future growth. We all need change. Just a little growth, small changes leads. It gives you the fuel that you need for major changes in your life to occur. So real quick before I go, I started a Happy New You challenge on my YouTube channel last year about August. And I am so grateful for in July. I'm so grateful. Wait a minute, July is the 7th month of the year. So it was like halfway through the year. I believe it was in June. 6 months into the year, I started a Happy New You challenge. Just thinking about the new year being 6 months away. And the Happy New You challenge, I don't know how many people. I invited everybody to join in on my Happy New You challenge, but my Happy New You challenge changed my life. I committed myself to making small changes in my life in different ways, and I began to do things differently, and it really, really blessed my life. So I am going to throw my Happy New You challenge back out here in a matter of months. For anyone who is interested in joining my Happy New You challenge, it is for everybody. I want us to learn how to make different changes in our lives. I don't want to just keep on throwing a whole bunch of information out here to you guys without you knowing exactly how to do it. I do a lot of research all the time on the regular basis. I listen to a lot of successful people, and I really do. I get a lot of information from successful entrepreneurs, motivational speakers, billionaires, multimillionaires. We want to make changes in our finances. That is one big thing on my list. If you have been listening to me, mental, physical, emotional, financial, and spiritual health are the 5 major key points to what I do on the regular basis. Not only do I throw this information out to you guys, these are things that I apply to myself and my everyday life on the regular basis. I have learned how to adapt my life into prioritizing those 5 things, and it made a major difference in my life. I am doing so much for myself. And I am seeing some amazing effects of it. So this is a really important phone call, and I do want to get to this phone call, but I am going to go ahead because I need to go ahead on about my day anyway. But I got some homework for y'all. I got something that you guys can take with you for the rest of the day. Please repeat this all day long. Hold on to the affirmations. If you are not a person who are used to digging up affirmations or speaking affirmations over your life, I want you to get in the habit of doing it. It makes all the difference in your life. It changes the way that you think and feel about yourself. It allows you to speak positively over yourself, and it makes a huge reflection on what you project out of yourself, your life, your daily actions, the things that you do that you didn't do before, that you don't do no more, the things that you are doing now. Affirmations turn your life into a whole new direction. So I want you to continue to speak positive words over yourself on the regular basis. So repeat this all day long. I may not be where I want to be, but I am better than what I used to be. Today, I accept change. I may not be where I want to be, but I am better than what I used to be. Today, I accept change. And really, You know, just by you taking time out to watch a video like this, a life lesson, a motivational video, you know, it says something about you, you know, because I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. And if you care enough about yourself to sit through a message like that, that speaks volumes for you. You know, I believe that the people who choose to receive my messages on a regular basis are the ones who are meant to receive these messages on the regular basis. That is even when I go out and do in-person motivational speeches. You know, some people sit through the messages, some people see me come through the door and they walk straight out the door, but I get so much of a positive outcome. I have people pull me to the side and let me know how much of a difference I have made to them just by caring enough to relay over messages like this. So it's going to affect those who it was meant to affect. And you are better just by sitting through a message like this. I'm telling you, every time I have so many messages that I have prepared over time. I don't get rid of none of them. I modify some of them. I shorten them. I make them more powerful. I add some information. I take away some information. And every time I prepare a life lesson, I get so much out of it just from preparing a message. I'm telling you, this is not just for you. I help myself so much tremendously, even just by preparing these messages. So learn how to accept change in your life today. I accept change. And as I finished, I was up really late preparing this message last night, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I proofread the message. I went over it, you know, I wrote it out. I wrote it and then went back and wrote it again. And I was like, all right, I'm done. So I got my ink pen in one hand and I got the top to my pen in the other hand. And I was getting ready to put the pen and the top on the pen. And I heard something say, tell them no matter what, everything will be okay. And I was like, okay. So I had to literally take the top away from the pen and I wrote it down in my notes so I wouldn't forget to tell you. I try to be obedient to the Spirit when He relays a message over to me. And God told me to tell you today at the end of this message, no matter what, everything will be okay. And it is. It absolutely is, no matter what is going on. And I can attest to that. I thank God so much for relaying that over to me. I got a little emotional even just telling you guys that. And I was like, I have to tell you how I came to the end of this message and how God told me to relay that over to you guys, because it was absolutely unbelievable. It was like almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I was so glad to be I had a very long day. You know, I'm trying to help my ex-husband deal with the loss of his mother and trying to be comforting towards him and everything like that. And I was just so happy to be wrapping up this message. And God told me to tell you guys, I didn't even feel like writing that. But I mean, I had completely got done writing a message, and God told me to tell you all, no matter what, everything is going to be okay. So that right there was a message straight from heaven. Good morning to you guys. Thank you to everyone who took time out to view this message on today. I hope you all got something out of it, learning how to adapt to change. I thought that message was just so relevant, especially for where we are in our lives right now. So thank you. Don't forget, you can drop some stars on here, drop me some hearts, let me know how you feel about my messages, and also go subscribe. I think I have almost 700 videos on my YouTube channel. I am about at 125 subscribers, which is better than what I even expected. People are taking to it very, very well. And I am so grateful for that. My YouTube channel was True Value, Knowing Your Worth on YouTube, which is the name of my very first book. If you go to Amazon, you can search True Value, Knowing Your Worth. My second book is Walking Treasure, Discover Your Hidden Treasures. My third book is Feed Your Soul, Your Personal Guide to Health and Wellness. And my fourth book is Religiously, a closer look at spirituality and religion. So those are my 4 books, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support and, you know, the views and the likes and the shares and the feedback. I notice all you guys, and my heart is extremely grateful, and I believe that I am out here doing what God has called me to do. So y'all go out here and have an amazingly beautiful, blessed Wednesday. Speak only positive things over your Wednesday and over your life, no matter what is going on around you. Have an amazing day. Take control and power of your day and of your life. I love you guys. Until next time, look for me on Friday. I will be coming to you guys Friday morning, Lord willing, with another motivational message of the day. In the meantime, y'all continue to stay blessed.